program is part of the Scene Project's podcast network. The Scene Project features interviews with independent musicians, comedians, and artists from across the Midwest. Become part of our community and support local art wherever you are. Welcome into a very exciting episode of The Scene. I am your host, Bubba Startz, and with me today is founder of Operation Combating Veteran Suicide and Mrs. South Dakota International, Charlotte Rupp. Charlotte, welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
Well, it's so nice to have you here where we were together physically this weekend. We just got done with a big event we threw together out at Kathmandu Campground. We had an absolutely fantastic time. But before we get into all the stuff that we just did, I want you to go ahead and tell us a little bit about you and a little bit about your nonprofit before we get too far down the rabbit hole.
Absolutely, thanks. So Operation Combating Veteran Suicide is a nonprofit that my husband and I founded. My husband is also a veteran, and we have found that over the years of working with veterans now for over 2 decades that what veterans need is help with housing, help with employment, and help with mental resources. So through our nonprofit, what we're doing is working with veterans to get them into employment, take care of their housing for them, and just really get them on a structured program that makes them successful coming back in if they've fallen on hard times. Of course, we've got substance issues, those kinds of things, PTSD, and of course the suicide attempts. I mean, we are losing no less than 22 veterans a day. The number is rising right now, which is just horrifying to me. And that is across the U.S., but we need to take care of that. They served us, and it's now time for us to serve them and get them back into a great place where they're successful with family, housing, their mental health, everything. So that's what Operation Combating Veteran Suicide does. We do have a 2-year program that they are on. They have to stay employed, which we help with the employment. We work with several employers that literally call me and go, I have this position. Do you have a veteran that can fill it? So we do that, and then of course assisting with their housing.
It's just incredible the work that you are doing. I think something we hit on when we were talking this weekend was the structure of it. For a lot of these guys and gals coming out of the military, you've lived in that structure since you were, coming out of high school, most of them, right? You're moving from one system into another and into an institution. And it's a lot something that we talk about guys coming out of the prison system, that you're institutionalized. And very much in the same way that can happen to you in the military as well, because everything is very cut and dried and kind of laid out for you. You don't have to do a lot of thinking on your own necessarily to know where your needs are being met or the job that you're doing. And there's so much that is, kind of built into the structure of our military. But when you're out, all of that goes away. And that can be a very jarring feeling for a lot of these veterans, I'm sure. Can you kind of speak to the shakeup that happens at the end of someone's service?
Well, and that is the thing. It's an end. I mean, it's over. It's done. I mean, most of them do not come out of the military having a job in society. So they come out and flounder. They've gone in at 18. They've never had to apply for a job. They've never had to do a resume. Most of those things have not happened. Or they've done a military resume because they were moving rank or, whatever they were doing there. But, they've not had to do the, how do I get an apartment? Yes, they have the steps to it, but what is the process of bill paying? And, they live on base or they come out or, they just fall on hard times. They've been at war. They're coming back. Their PTSD is horrifying. Experience was bad. Just very hard life things. And there's just not a next step. There's not a next step of, hey, we need to talk to people. Get into a peer group, of other veterans that are in the same boat and talk through what you're feeling. It's so important for them to still feel like they have some structure. And then, with us, that's kind of what we do is we give them very hard structure in the beginning. And then over the 2 years, by the end, they're doing it on their own. They know how to just make life happen outside of the military being like, you have to be here. Here's lunch and dinner. They come out and they just need that next step. And so that's what we are for them.
And it's something, obviously, a need that's not really being met by very many other organizations. We spoke about, obviously the government has the Veteran Affairs and these things, but their resources are so limited because you're trying to cover the whole country, right? And all these thousands of veterans that are leaving the service every year. So it's understandable that there can be holes inside of the VA or inside of the other government organizations that are there to help veterans. So it really comes down to people like yourself in the private sector taking some ownership of it and going, well, we are going to help these people. And I know that, while Operation Combating Veteran Suicide as an entity is relatively new, this is something that you've had a passion for many, many years now, and that you were doing long before you ever put a name to it. Can you talk a little bit about your history helping veterans and what was kind of the genesis of Operation Combating Veteran Suicide?
So for me, I've worked with veterans for over 20 years in some capacity, whether it is, my background is hospice. So I've always worked with veterans on the No Veteran Dies Alone. So I will go and stay with veterans when they're passing. I've always been helping other organizations. Casey and I have put in lots of time, effort, and money into buying boots, helping with rent, buying food, the things that veterans need coming out, sending stuff overseas. So we've always had this passion that we were going to make a legacy for us. And when I became Mrs. South Dakota International, somebody made a comment to me and she said, "Make this your legacy." And I was like, oh my gosh, I've got it. And this, just kind of became a full realm. Us idea people, we're always building ideas and rolling forward with them. I finally just named it. We're not doing anything different than what we've done, other than now we are a true nonprofit, which is great. We are getting help from individual donors, corporate donors, and we love that now. Goal is for us in the next 2 years is to build an apartment complex that will help house them for the 2-year program that they're there. They'll be in their own place, figuring out each step by themselves. But right now in the interim, we're just working with other places to house, and it's working great. But we want them to be doing it on their own and feeling like it's their place, not like a domiciliary where they're all kind of housed together, or a transitional house where there are a bunch of them together. It's going to be their own place that they have to deal with.
And a huge step in, building back some of these people. I know a lot of the veterans that you work with, are dealing with substance abuse issues, are dealing with severe PTSD. They're finding it very hard to operate in the world at all, much less having to deal with, paying all the bills and worrying about how to exist in your life. Sometimes just waking up and getting out of bed, because of the physical ailments incurred during their service can be very hard. So I think what you are doing is just so important and such a vital cog in the wheel of helping our veterans to assimilate to civilian life. And I love the idea of a complex, a community, right, that is all veterans, and they can kind of rely on each other a little bit in that space. So I think the long-term vision for what you're doing is just incredible. And not only to do it once, but to have a repeatable process that hopefully one day we can take all over the country, and wherever it's needed, we have a formula then to provide for veterans anywhere we go. Obviously, starting close to home here in South Dakota, a big
Absolutely.
Congratulations to you, on winning the pageant, the Mrs. South Dakota International. It's not something I know that you really set out to do. It wasn't necessarily a dream of yours to enter the pageant world. But can you talk about the platform now that the pageant and this whole new world has given you for the good that you want to do in the world?
Yeah, the pageant's been huge now for me. It was brought to me that I should go for Mrs. South Dakota International. I've never done pageants in my life, so it's not something. I was a little girl running around as a pageant girl or teenager or any of that. First time ever, and now have the title of Mrs. South Dakota International. It has brought so much to me. I said that, it just wasn't something I had like this grandiose idea to do, but I decided I was going to do it. I think for myself, for self-confidence, getting me out there. I love being able to help support the veterans, and I knew this would also help with the platform, and it has. Lots of reach outs. People want to know what my platform is. They want to see what I'm doing. They follow me because I am, not only Mrs. South Dakota, but I've now got this amazing nonprofit. Going into the pageantry in Tennessee in July is when I compete for international, and it's going to be a great platform there too. I'm super excited to get it out to the judges. There are some very affluent people that show up to these, and I can promise you my nonprofit will be first and foremost in front of them.
And that is more what the pageant and the title have provided, right? It is a larger platform for you to share all the good that you are doing out there in the world, and to use it to tell people and to bring in, more funding and more awareness, and hopefully inspire others to not only give to your organization, but to maybe start their own causes for veterans in their area. I mean, I know both of us dream very, very big, but there's no way that we can help every veteran out there, right? We would love to, and we would love to, like I said, build these formulas that can do more, but we need several organizations that are filling different gaps, right? From putting boots literally on people's feet to get them onto the ground, or, for the larger vision of providing this kind of transitional housing between, getting out or going from the domiciliary and coming out of, a substance abuse program or a traumatic program, even just coming out of the hospital, right? Some of these, veterans coming out of the military are getting medically discharged. And what about them? What if they have no family to go to? So there's just so many people and so many avenues that we can access. And both of us using the platforms that we've now built for ourselves, an award-winning podcast, the Beauty Pageant Queen, to go out and to spread the word that not only do these organizations need help, but other veterans need help too. Maybe, there's plenty of veterans out there that maybe don't need the housing and don't need this, but maybe they could use just a group to talk to about the mental health aspects of, dealing with, the PTSD, or just being a veteran these days isn't an easy thing as well.
Well, and I think it's so important to realize is that, we are Operation Combating Veteran Suicide. My goal is to be there before we've had an attempt. Things happen, though. We know attempts happen, and unfortunately, sometimes they're successful. So for me, it's getting to them before. Let's talk about it. No, you're having these stresses. You're having, just coming back to the real world, even if you weren't in combat, even if you weren't fighting and, wasn't super stressful. It's stressful because you're just back out. You're back to where you were the day before you went in. You don't have a job. They still need help. I mean, even if they have money, even if they're doing good, they still need the support. They need to know they're taken care of. They need to know, I'm here to help. Great, they have a beautiful home. Cool, I'm glad you have that home outside of base. How are you paying for that now that you're out? Like, what's the step for you? I mean, and they come out stressed.
Right, Charlotte. I hadn't even thought about that. Is someone who has bought a home, gets a 30-year mortgage, has a 20-year career in the military, and retires from that, and now has, for the first time in their life, still has a decade worth of mortgage payments to pay on their own. And what a exactly what a stressful situation that must be to all of a sudden, be walking away from that steady income and all of those things. And in most cases, the military is not necessarily providing you with skills that are applicable in the private sector.
Right.
Some are, but if you are a frontline, a frontline soldier, your skills are not translating in the same way to the private sector. And all of a sudden, taking orders from someone who maybe hasn't earned your respect by being of a higher rank. And it's just there's so many intricacies to, and each veteran's story is different. So how do we meet them? How do we meet them where they're at? How do we help these people where they're at, and to move them into a place that's going to be a place where they can build a successful life outside of their military service?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's what we're here to do. We're here to get them pointed in the right direction from the beginning, wherever that beginning is for them now.
Awesome. Well, let's talk about what we have going on currently. I know we just stepped away from an awesome event, which has given us a little insight now into what more we could be doing together. But we got a couple events coming up in the next few months. I want you to go ahead and plug away.
We do. August 16th, we are having Operation Combating Veteran Suicides Poker Run. It will be starting in Sturgis and ending in Rapid. We are riding the beautiful Black Hills. We are so excited. We will have 5 stops that day. Our riders' lunch is included. We're going to have some drawings, a silent auction, some music there at the end. It's going to just really be a great day. But we would love the support. You can go online and register already. And that is at operationcombatingveteransuicide.com, or the simple thing, which I'm going to, as we go in time, transition over to, is oc-vs.com. Our name is very long, so you'll hear Bubba and I throw around, it's OCVS. I mean, because it's a lot of words to get out of your mouth. But so we have that happening August 16th. Registration, there is an early bird registration for that. All bikers, cars, whatever are welcome. We just want everybody to join us and support our veterans that day. And it's just going to be a really great day. It's starting at 10 a.m. So great things going on that day. Would love to have you guys with us for that. So please join us on that one. And then, Bubba, do you want to announce the next one, or you want me to give the dates, and then you can talk a little bit? Because there's a lot going on that. So we had a crazy...
I will announce it, and you can tell them about what's going on, because I don't even know what you have planned. So the last weekend in September, correct? I don't even know what those dates
26th, we're going to come in on Friday the 26th, Saturday the 27th, and we're going to leave the morning of the 28th. And when I say we, that means everybody listening to this. We want you guys to join us.
That's right. So we're going to go back to Kathmandu RV Park and Campground outside of Sturgis. That's right off of exit 34, very close to the Black Hills National Cemetery. Great space out there. It will be kind of an end of the season party for them, but also giving us another chance to get everyone together, to build some community, to build awareness about OCVS, and to continue to do good out there in the world. So we have a lot of space. We have multiple days that there's going to be music if the scene projects are involved. So we got that going on. We're going to have a lot more stuff. Anything that we will be doing that weekend, Charlotte?
Yep, we're going to bring back the singer-songwriter contest. We want, we think that is a great thing to do. That was so much fun. And the talent here in the Black Hills. Bubba asked me to judge, and I did. And I already told him that I've retired from that. It was way too stressful. He did tell me I wasn't retiring, but that's okay. The talent's amazing. So we absolutely want to drum up more of that. Bubba doesn't know it yet, but his band will be there playing, because it was amazing. He's amazing. I think we want to do a few other bands. We'll get out there. We're for sure going to do an opening night band. I don't know if that's Bubba's band. Him and I really, after Saturday, we're like, we just need to debrief, and or on Sunday, sorry, we just need to debrief. And so now he's kind of getting my vision as we go here. So, but it's going to be lots of music. We're going to do probably some cornhole tournament, maybe horseshoe, volleyball. I mean, we're just really going to do some fun outside. It'll still be warm here. If it's not, we'll pivot like we did this weekend.
We'll pivot until we've
we're-
worn a circle around us. It doesn't matter.
Right. We've gotten really good at that. We'll have some good food. I mean, we're really just going to make it a great weekend. So what we're asking is everybody come in. I will get stuff put together so that and Kathmandu's already ready for people to register out there to stay. But they can take campers. I mean, they can take any kind of just tents, whatever. We'll make it work. They have hookups out there. But coming in on Friday, and then we'll be there Friday night. We'll have a great concert. Saturday we will do the showcases. Lots of stuff to come on this, Bubba. But it's going to be
incredible. I
Yep.
can't thank you enough for diving in head first on our event. This last weekend, it was absolutely incredible to see how it all came together in a very, very short amount of time. Most people wouldn't even be courageous enough to attempt it. And I thought not only did we attempt, but we succeeded on so many levels, and mostly just proving to ourselves that, hey, we can really do something special when we put our minds to it. And I think that was the first start for me is, okay, you have this space, you have this platform, how are you going to use it? And now that we have a great handle on that, it's time to just kind of put the hammer down and to get to work doing more of them. So absolutely thrilled to be working with you again, Charlotte. Remember, August 16th, there is the OCVS Poker Run that will be in the Black Hills, starting in Sturgis and ending in Rapid City. And then September 26th, 27th, and leaving on the 28th, back at Kathmandu RV Park and Campground, exit 34 outside of Sturgis. Lots of great stuff. Keep your eyes peeled for more information coming on that. And I think we're going to have some more programming for you coming from me and Charlotte as well, just to keep everybody in the know with future events, any news from OCVS that we can share on a more consistent basis. So keep your eyes peeled for yet another podcast from the Scene Projects. And we just appreciate you all for tuning in and supporting not just our programming, but the great causes that are behind us as well. So, Charlotte, thank you so much for being on the show. Do you need to plug anything else before you go?
Nope, just you, Bubba. I appreciate you so much for what you've done and just bringing me in. I love that you're a lot like me on the grounds of if you want something to happen, you just do it and figure it out as we go. And I love that about you. So, the Scene Project has been huge to us already. We appreciate you so much, but I just want you to know I love these thoughts, and we're just going to run with what we have, and you will for sure see more of me with you.
Well, thank you for your kind words, Charlotte, and thank you for being part of the scene.
Thank you.
How do I pause this? Oh, pause right